You mentioned to me offline, Lonzo, that you were on a show that I used to listen to back in the day. I was such a big radio nerd, and I took in everyone from Howard Stern to Big Boy to Larry Elder. And you mentioned that you were on the Larry Elder show back in the day. And for anyone who doesn't know, Larry Elder, his show was on, he was based out of Los Angeles, but he was syndicated all over the country. Very right-leaning person, conservative, more on that side of things. Gets a lot of slack. But tell us about the Larry Elder appearance, Lonzo.
That was a straight humbug, man. I just happened to be with a buddy of mine named Ted Watkins. Ted, I can't think of his last name right now. And Ted was he was a homeless advocate, and I was downtown LA talking to Ted, and Ted and Larry Elder were buddies, and I'm down there talking to Ted, and Larry Elder is here's me talking. We got to talking about hip hop, and this time, Cube and they were kind of just wreaking havoc on the world, as far as the mainstream was concerned. And I said a few things. Larry, I want you to say that on air. And I said, what? And he had me on the show that night. He called me that afternoon. Hey, man, I want you to be a guest on the show this afternoon. So I makes my way down that's when they were on La Cienega, right across Jefferson, at the Cumulus radio station. I get down there and I'm starting to talk. And at some point in time, my conversation kind of changed tracks. And I was explaining why they felt the way they felt. And before I could finish my statement, they got interrupted for a Dodger game, man. They cut me off like a shit, like the head of a dick in the circumcision shit. They cut my ass off. Because I did believe that what they were saying was not appropriate, but I also understood why they were saying it. And that's when everything changed. Okay. I was talking to Unknown last night. We had a good conversation last night about the 50th anniversary of hip hop and the evolution of hip hop. And what people don't realize, most of the stuff that we did N.W.A. did was never supposed to go to radio. The songs that N.W.A. did, Eazy E did, initially were not supposed to go to radio. They were designed to be underground hits. The thing was, it was supposed to be a hustle. And they were going to do it. And they used a lot of the distribution networks that I put in place, the swap meets and the independent record stores. And I had a good thing. I was selling underground records, making a shitload of money doing that. And then they also wanted to follow in their footsteps. And then you had Dudo's, Old Man Williams, who owned Dudo's Records. He had Dutone Records. And that was all cussing back in the day, man. That was like Dolomite. It wasn't Dolomite went on this label, but it was like Dolomite type acts. You're talking about sex and all kind of crazy shit. Red Fox was on this label, and that was kind of the business model that they were gonna pattern. And all of a sudden, Greg Mack got hold to the record, and the shit blew up. And next thing you know, gangster rap became the national anthem for all black radio. But it was not supposed to be that way.
So it looks like we got a tsunami watch, but yes, as of 23 minutes ago, someone posted that we have a tsunami watch in California. We'll be fine. We get those all the time. But thank you for caring. Yeah, there was a big, looks like Russia had an 8.7 quake, Lonzo, and it looks like it's wreaking havoc.
Tsunami watch?
Yeah, we're under tsunami watch right now. California is. I'm looking at the map. It looks like it's mostly affecting the northern part of the state. But yeah, stand by. I think we're good, Lonzo. We're a little too inland. What do you think?
You damn sure good. If it hits the 605, goddammit, we all I'm damn sure in trouble. If it hits the 605, the 110 and the 105 is done. Okay, I'm in deep shit. But for the most part, man, I'm about shit. I'm about 10 miles from the ocean in either direction. That could be a super powerful ass tsunami for us to really, really, really. But they've happened. Don't get me wrong, they've happened, but I don't see it.
Yeah, we're good. But thank you for the concern. Hey, let's keep it on radio for a bit, Lonzo. Before Power 106, before 92.3 The Beat, let's go back to the 80s, 70s, maybe even 60s. Who are some of the radio shows or radio show hosts or radio stations that you listen to?
There was a dude on KGLH called Magic Mike. Magic Mike was our red alert. Magic Mike was one of the first DJs to be mixing on the air. Then you had Michael mixing more. People always got them two confixed. They were not the same dude. Then you had a lot of cats, man, that were just getting into the music, the DJ thing, the mixing thing. That mixing was a big deal. Being able to mix was a big thing, far as radio for radio. Scratching wasn't a big thing till later on. And these guys, they played the club cuts, because back in the day, a lot of songs you couldn't hear on the radio, because the radio was really strict back then, because you could get in trouble for playing a good cut on a great album. If that song was not a part of the playlist that's being promoted by the record company, you'd get in trouble for playing it. I watched one of the DJs from KACE get chewed out because he played a couple of Constantino Reed's album before Motown was ready to push the album. So you had to be really careful and stay strict to the list. But the mixed DJs, they had a whole nother playlist, and that's when you heard all the bomb shit, and that's when we would steal that shit, or you hit it in the club on Friday and Saturday, and then Saturday night to be on the radio. Magic Mike and Michael Mixon Moore were two of those main cats.
Shout out to Dominique Prima. She is a legend in the game. Yeah, Ruthless Radio. Lonzo, what do you remember about Ruthless Radio? Did Eazy ever talk to you about it? Did you ever listen to the show? Talk to us what you remember about Ruthless Radio.
I listened to it for a while. It was Julio G and Eazy E was doing that thing right there. It was cool. It was a lot of hardcore hip hop, if I can remember, and a lot of beeping, and that for me that kind of irritates the shit out of me. All that beeping and reversing, you can't enjoy the damn song. Beep. So I didn't really get into it that much, but it was on Saturdays. So usually on Saturdays, I was working anyway. Saturdays. I always have something to do, whether it be the club or doing a gig or something like that. So I didn't get a real chance to enjoy it too much. I did listen to it from time to time on the way someplace, but for the most part, I really didn't get into it that deep.
Okay. Let's talk about radio a little bit. Before the East Coast, West Coast beef, I remember hearing rap artists complain that East Coast radio stations weren't playing West Coast music. Out here in LA, we were playing Run DMC, LL Cool J, KRS-One, Special Ed.